some noise for your host, Kid Copious.
What up, perps? Kid Copious, back in the bunker. Purple State Party. All about America, center, common sense, and of course fireworks. So let's start off with some fireworks here. Checking, making sure everything's on there. You know how I do it. I always check everything after the fact. Jesus, I'm stupid. Yeah, so we're just going to kick it right off. Amanda Rose is going to bring us in here. Amanda Geyser. You know, Black Lives Matter, Latino Lives Matter, Asian Lives Matter. I don't know about you all, but it's starting to sound like all lives matter. And they do. And that's sort of been the point. And at one point, it was deemed racist to say all lives matter. So I don't even know if it is now. I don't know. The rules change so much. I don't really know. But they do. You know, people down at the border, you know, that are being housed in cages covered in plastic. You know, they matter. Elderly people of Asian descent that are being attacked. And of course, see, my problem, I have a small problem with the fact that we're now calling it Asian Lives Matter, because the attacks are people who are going after Chinese. Let's be honest, that's what it's about. That's what it seems like it's about. I mean, the Chinese are taking the blame for COVID, rightfully so, I don't know. But, you know, again, that's where, you know, we used to have a word that, you know, we used to say Oriental, and it was a little more specific, but we had to do away with that word. I don't really know why, because it's specific. I mean, the continent of Asia is quite big, and you know, it's like when they say Kamala Harris is half Asian. It's like, I guess technically India is in Asia, but it denotes the wrong things. But that's why it's easier to just say all lives matter. Everybody, Christians, gays, transgender people, gun-loving people, gun-hating people, everybody's lives matter, man. You know, and we destroy lives for every little transgression that happens nowadays. But the funny thing is that when people do really bad stuff, you know, like, for example, I don't know, like the two girls that just robbed an Uber driver, flipped the car, and he flew out and died. They sped off, flipped it over. It's right there. There's a video. He's laying there dead on the sidewalk. You know, we're going to give them probation. I don't know. You know, I know kids do stupid things. They were like 13 and 15. I know that, but by the same token, like, I don't know, man. Sometimes you just got to cut bait. But, you know, nowadays we need to remember that all lives matter. We need to stop running around with these stupid ass signs and pretending that all people of no color, or whatever you want to call white people, are all bad. See, when we see a video, you know, let's say a bunch of black kids storming a Foot Locker, right, and looting it, we're not supposed to judge every black person by that video. And I get it. I don't. I mean, it's the people who did it are the people who did it, not people who look like them. But that's not the way it works right now. And the point of ending the hate and no place for racism and all of that, it's not supposed to be about just turning racism around. I mean, that's just absurd. That's ridiculous. But if it makes people feel better, they're just going to keep doing it. And whatever. I mean, yeah, I guess in this day and age, you got to make fun of somebody. So I guess it's just going to be white Christians. But, you know, deep down in your heart, hating somebody just because they're Christian is just as bad as hating somebody because they're black. You know that. So, I mean, whatever. Let's move on here, assuming I can get this to work. Still can't get it to work. Trying. I can't see my mouse. That makes it really difficult. Where is my freaking mouse? Whoa! What did I just do? Whoa. There we go. Whoa! That was a catastrophe. I don't stop my recordings for nothing, even things like that. So here you go, a BLM leader indicted for spending donation money on house, guns, and prostitute. Just one, I guess. I don't know. Nowadays, journalism on both sides is lacking any real professionalism. So I guess nobody spell checked that. Either that or you only got one. I don't know. But again, I mean, they're no different than any other group out there. They've got their own agenda and they can be corrupt. That's the problem with socialism is you can vote your way into it, but you always have to fight your way out of it. And, you know, that's where we're at. But that brings me to something that I just want to get down on the record. I think what's going on is that a lot of the moderate Democrats are sick of the far left themselves. They know it doesn't work. They know it's not good for business. They know that eventually people are going to see through it and the Democrats can lose power. So they're letting people like AOC shine brightly so everybody sees what a fucking mess that far left is. And one by one, they'll get picked off, and then the moderate Democrats will seize control. That's my idea. Defund the police, use police to seize guns. Yeah, that's, you know, I can see why that guy's sweating between the choices. And as we've already seen in Portland and Minneapolis, they defunded the police, and now they're scrambling to find money. Because it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. You know, people could go be out there and hate cops all they want, but the fact remains, the percentage of them that do bad are far outweighed by the percentage that does good. And without them, people just do what they want. We know this. We see it. Lawlessness. That's going on currently in Portland. Earl Weber, my boy right there. If the number of executive orders you've signed exceeds the number of days you've been in office, you might be a dictator. Little throwback to the Jeff Foxworthy redneck bit, eh? Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what it's looking like right now. Whatever. You know, they're going to do what they're going to do. And like I said, I think they want it on full display so that people never vote far left ever again. There's too many of them there. People like Pelosi and the Feinsteins and the old guard. I don't think they like these young communists any more than the rest of us. But they bring votes for now, so they need to change that tide. They need to let these people embarrass themselves. Yeah, this is a fun story about COVID, how everybody's standing in line wearing a mask 6 feet apart, and then 30 minutes later they're packed on a plane. And it's just, man, there was nothing we could do to stop it. Anybody who tells you that we could have done something different is fooling themselves, because we're idiots to begin with. So we were going to mess it up one way or the other. So nothing would have worked. But, you know, that just typifies the stupidity that we are allowing to happen. You know, we need leaders who aren't idiots and don't treat us like we're dummies. You know, I think that's something we honestly did get out of Trump. I mean, he wasn't perfect, but, you know, at least he didn't try to pull shit that made us think we were, you know. And everybody's going to throw whatever you want to throw. I hope somebody throws something in the comments. That would be great. Let me know if somebody's actually watching this. Here's another, I mean, it's just a rapid fire of a week. They're going to have Bill Clinton and Kamala Harris speak about female empowerment. And, you know, I like this joke. Inviting Bill Clinton to speak on empowering women is like asking Jeffrey Dahmer to host a cooking class. Yeah, that's a pretty accurate joke right there, I'd say. But, I mean, Kamala Harris basically spread her legs to get into politics, and Bill Clinton was the kind of guy that spread girls' legs to help, you know, for them to get a leg up. You know, she was legs up and he was legs up. I mean, it was just two despicable human beings when you get right down to it. You know, you may love the guy as a president, but he was a pig, dude. I mean, anybody that's led that bad by his libido, he shouldn't have been a president, man. God knows if we were ever compromised in any other way. You know, that the sex you Soviet. I come to steal your secrets and play with your pee-pee. And so here, you know, this is what we're talking about. You know, in Boulder, a policeman rushed into the supermarket and he died. He rushed in while everybody was rushing out. I mean, I don't understand the deep hatred for it. I understand the end to police brutality. I've been there. I've been on that side of it. I get that. But to defund them and to criticize them as a group is just ignorant. They're the people who rush towards the gunshots, not away from them. And if you don't have that, who's going to protect you? You know, the Democrats would love to take away your guns. And don't allow them to muddy the issue by talking about stupid stuff like, oh, they only meant muskets. You know, because that's what they had back then. But that's not what they were talking about. They were talking about having firearms that could protect your family, protect yourself, and protect your country. Whatever that meant. They knew. They weren't stupid. They knew things were going to evolve. And that's why they put it there. They wanted us to be on even footing with the criminals and the government. Oftentimes the criminals are the government, sadly. You know, but meanwhile, over here in La La Land, we're finding out that Hunter Biden's wife threw away a gun near a high school. When Hunter found out, they went back to get it, and the gun was gone. The Secret Service then went to the gun store to get the records. The gun store owner wouldn't give them up and instead turned them into ATF. They were trying to cover... They want to restrict our ability to buy guns. They want to restrict what kind of guns we can buy. And let me tell you something. You know, if God forbid you ever need a gun, the guns that they're trying to take away are some of the best guns out there for protecting your family. Forget about hunting. Okay? Having a lot of rounds and having something that accurately delivers them. And what they're going after is this mystical assault rifle, which is a fully automatic, a rifle capable of full auto fire. And that's not what's sold at Big Five or Turner's or whatever gun store you go to. We can't buy fully auto guns. We can't. You know? Shotguns and pistols. Man, shotguns, collateral damage, pistols, not as easy to shoot somebody as they show on Hollywood. You know? It's not. The longer the barrel, the more accurate it is. That's why rifles work so well. That's why people use them for hunting. That's why people don't, for the most part, go hunting with pistols. And they do. And they've got barrels that are like this long. And they shoot giant 4.54 bullets. Big rifle bullets in a revolver. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And yes, we may need to stand up to our government, whether it's local or federal or state. You know, one reason why people would really have to think twice about trying to invade the United States from a military standpoint is around every corner they're going to be taking guerrilla fire. You know, founding fathers were smart, but this guy, Hunter here, man, they're going to cover this story up, man. You know, Biden sexually harassed a girl, cover it up. Biden's laptop contained all kinds of shit. They're covering it up. Swalwell, it was sleeping with a Chinese agent, cover it up. Biden and the Secret Service, cover it up. It's some shit with this gun. They were going to pull the records that even showed that he ever owned that gun in case that gun ever showed up. So before you jump on board with what they want to do about common sense gun laws, they're not even enforcing something with him. They threw it away near a high school and the gun disappeared. God only knows what's happened to it. If they ever find out that something bad happened with it, it's been covered up. That's not what we need. We don't need cover-ups. So one of the best people out there for trying to cover up what's going on is social media. They monitor things. They label things. They so-called fact-check things. You know, somebody sent Candace Owens, a black woman, a picture of a Klan hood and said, I think you dropped this. And Twitter said that that did not violate their terms of service. You guys all out there who talk about terms of service and their private company, they can do what they want. They can censor the president if they want to. But it's okay to send a picture of a Klan hood to a black woman? Because she's Republican? Does that make it okay Does that really change? What if she was a black Democrat, then she was also a Christian? Does that make your head spin? Come on. Racism is racism. It shouldn't matter to you. If you believe that racism is bad right here in your heart, then it shouldn't matter how she votes or what her views are. She's a black woman who had a KKK hood sent to her virtually, and Twitter did nothing. Come on. Is that the world you want to live in? This is just a quick one here. They went back to the baker who refused to make a gay wedding cake. They went back and they wanted to do a gender transition cake, and he refused to do it, and they did it on the anniversary. But again, let's think about this for a second. The baker didn't go out and try to stop the gays from getting married. He didn't stop the transgender transition. Maybe he doesn't believe in that, but he has a right to believe in what he believes in. All he did was refuse to make a cake. But you use this case to defend what Twitter does, but then Twitter turns around and doesn't even enforce their rules when it involves a Republican. They're just like, doesn't violate anything. Come on. You know, if you believe in equality, if you believe in all the things that you say you believe in, then you have to defend those people's rights too. That's how I believe we have the right to be whoever we want. You know, and I defend that right. People have the right to speak their mind. People have a right to, you know, protest certain things. Just do it right. I mean, that's all I'm asking for, is don't go out with half-baked facts and burn down cities over half-baked facts. Because, you know, it's starting to happen. Elizabeth Warren clashes with Amazon on Twitter, pledges to break up big tech. So all of a sudden, they've turned on you. You see that? Because they know that this whole censorship thing is bad. Because what if Twitter turns on Elizabeth Warren? What if they silence her? What if they start allowing... What if they get sold? Let's just say they get sold. Let's say Twitter gets sold and all of a sudden it turns conservative. And they start shutting down everything that Elizabeth Warren wants to say. Okay? That's why some of the stuff that Biden's doing, they're starting to get worried about. Because the Republicans can now turn around and do the same thing. And you got to remember that. Turn them out as fair play or whatever. I mean, that's how they're looking at it in politics now. Yeah? We're going to talk a little more about gun control. I just really like this one. Despite the fact that weapons are strictly banned and inmates are under intense surveillance, prison stabbings happen constantly. And Deadpool says, it's almost like criminals don't follow the rules. They don't. And let's look at another bit of evidence. One of the George Soros liberal far left socialist DAs, Gascon, won't even prosecute gun enhancements. He wants to remove gun enhancements from prior sentences. So he wants to allow criminals to get away with criminally using guns, but their party wants to get rid of your gun. They want to restrict what kind of guns you can have. They want to restrict if you can carry them for protection. So some 80-year-old man is not allowed to carry a gun for protection in this country. But if somebody uses a gun in the commission of a crime, you're not going to charge them with that. That's the kind of backwards thinking that they're doing right now. And you got to see it. You got to see it before it's too late. Because they're giving the criminals all the power. That's just the way it is. You know? They want to defund the police, but a firearm makes me my own first responder. I don't know who said that. I don't know why Cruz is on there, but that's what I found. And, you know, it's a true statement. And it really goes to what I've been saying. You know, how are you going to defund the police and take away our protections? How does that end well? Especially somewhere like California where you got nearly 100,000 homeless people with nothing to lose. I don't know. It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. The only way to combat bad guys with guns is good guys with guns. And I've yet to see NRA members or concealed carry members committing crimes in any large number. Sorry, those are the law-abiding citizens. Those are the people who stand up and take out shooters. Okay? But, you'll have to do your own research. Candace Owens, I love this one. Talking about how with the COVID restrictions, her family from overseas might be easier for them to fly into Mexico and just run across the border. That's the insanity what's going on down there. They're releasing them into communities. Here in LA, they want foster families to take up to 26 migrant children. That's not going to end well. That's not going to end well at all, man. I mean, there's going to be so many problems that come out of that. I mean, what a great opportunity if you were a human trafficker. Just get a hold of some corruptible foster family and you can get 26 kids. It's just left wide open. And trust me, that's what criminals do. Criminals find those loopholes, those cracks in the system. Going down to the border here, this is, whoa. I feel like I've somehow gotten out of order, but I'm not going to really care. Anyhow, these pictures were taken down at the detention facilities in Texas, by a Democrat who's actually sick of it. And I believe he may be one of the ones that's threatening to not run as a Democrat again. But they're literally in cages covered in plastic to keep the rain off of them, with a little TV stuck off in the corner. And at his press conference, Biden brought up some stuff that Trump did wrong. Kind of blamed Trump for it. But the reality is he's the one who dangled the carrot. He's the one who said, I'll find a path to citizenship. He's the one who wants to give COVID checks to illegal immigrants. I mean, when you say to somebody, make it here, I'll make you a citizen, and I'll give you some cash, and all of a sudden they all come, I understand that there's seasonal spikes. I get all that. I understand that Trump didn't put enough money into certain programs. Fine. But he dangled the carrot. AOC, nowhere to be found. She was calling Trump's camps, migrant facilities, concentration camps. Now she's saying nothing. Look at that. Because it's the same thing. If you can lie to yourself enough to say that it's any different under Biden than it was under Trump, then you are really delusional. And I'm never going to get through to you. They put her in charge, the token, the box clicker that she is, and then she's not even going to go down to the border. She doesn't even care. These people don't even care anymore to try to make it look good. That's how much they think they have a firm grip on power. Fine, whatever. Candace Owens is calling out AOC for that, they're political hacks who use immigrant children as props. It doesn't suit their narrative. So she doesn't go down there. So she doesn't give a shit. Think about that. If she really cared, she would be down there raising a fuss. But she obviously doesn't care about the children at the border. That's evidence, folks. She's not down there protesting their conditions under Biden. No, perfectly fine. Same camps. Maybe even worse conditions right now. Biden press conference again. Kamala is going to be president. Because Joe's never going to make it. I mean, they had to give him note cards, and you could just look up his stuff. I'm not going to waste time on it. I mean, I just, he's got problems. He's got problems, and I'm not going to make fun of that. I just don't want to. I mean, not to mention the fact that other than for me, random yelling, loss of words, confusing train of thought, insulting the press, off-topic rambling, mispronunciation, and mumbling. I wasn't scared, and I don't work off note cards, but I'm as fucked up too, man. But I'm not president. They're going on and on about the Georgia Jim Crow laws, and all they're really asking for is to voter ID, prove who you are before you submit an absentee ballot. And one of the reasons they want to limit the use of ballot drop boxes is so the ballot drop boxes can't just be stopped and sort of flown in as needed. What's wrong with that? And as far as food and water, bring your own goddamn food and water. You're not allowed to influence people online. I'm sorry. And that's exactly what food and water is. This is influence. It's people walking around in whatever garb they can to promote a certain ideal or a certain candidate, giving out water. They probably can't wear a Biden 2020 shirt, but they could certainly come up and go, hey, this is from Joe. So that's why they have to do that. It's not about, it's, you know, they're talking about ID is replacing the current system that simply requires a signature. Like you can't forge a signature, you know? It's just ridiculous. And they are giving early voting access. Because the previous version curbed weekend voting. But then the Republicans said, you're right. They do a lot of stuff, especially Sunday vote drives held by black churches. Fine. We'll compromise. But no, not good enough. They're labeling this Jim Crow and racist. Why? Because black people can't get IDs? I don't see how. Here in California, we give them to illegal aliens, for God's sake. So I'm pretty sure anybody could qualify. Or are you saying that they don't want to be in the system for some reason? Because if somebody doesn't want to be in the system, I have to ask why. I'm not even going to spend any time with Trevor Noah here. I had some of his stuff up. He's an idiot. I'm not going to focus on these. I'm going to get right back to what I love doing. Just poking holes in these stupid idiots up there right now, man. These people are worse than I've ever seen. You know? And nobody really typifies how bad it really is other than Jen Psaki here. You know? The fucking Chucky doll of the administration. They throw her out there, she babbles and she spins stories, and she never has any answers. And I love this one because she never said this, but this is funny as shit. You have to understand, we inherited broken stairs from the previous administration. That is so Psaki, man. Oh, you know it is. This one, stop with the clapping. I'm not going to do the clapping because I think that would annoy people. Stop blaming Democrats for rising gas prices when they go up every summer due to increased travel. And as Soper points out here, oh yes, January, the best time in the summer to travel. They're going up, man. They're going up. And we know why. It's Biden. It's his policies. It's his desire to end fossil fuels because his money isn't tied up in oil, apparently. Oh, God. The people that are coming out of the far left are just so dumb. Even putting the clapping in there. How fucking annoying is that, man? Whatever. And this is what I was talking about earlier, and I love this one because they literally did give him a picture book. Even Batman's got a drink. He's got pictures of the press with circles and stuff to let him know which ones to actually ask. It's almost as if he's afraid that somebody's going to ask a tough question. A question that's going to, like, pull back the curtain and show what a fucking idiot he is. That's really what we want in our leaders. You guys were upset that Orange Man tweet mean? Oh, dude. Look at the mess we're in now. We got this fucking guy, and sitting in the wings, we got Kamala, and the plan all along is going to be Kamala is going to take over once the Democrats decide to turn on Biden. In New Sesame Street episode, Elmo joins Antifa and torches local businesses. Yeah, because they are. You know. I don't know, man. I watched Sesame Street. When I was a kid, I watched a lot of TV. As a kid, Jeffersons, as I mentioned before, All in the Family. Love the Match Game. Love Nipsey Russell. Scoey. Oh, yeah. You know. Remember Isaac the bartender on Love Boat? Any character, man. Roadblock from G.I. Joe. Give me a fucking break, man. You don't need to be heavy-handed with this stuff. The more heavy-handed you are, the more misunderstood it is. You know? Just showing black people, ooh, I'm just tripping out. I don't know what I could do with my lips. Just showing black people being black people. That's all you gotta do, man. You don't gotta ram it down people's throats. You know, you don't gotta go over the top. But then again, you know, I would say to the far righters, man, you don't need to teach your hate, man. Like that Karen who had two kids that were of mixed ethnicity, and she's throwing around the N word because somebody wants her to put on a mask. You know, we don't need to be so heavy handed, and we don't need. I don't know. I don't know, man. I think the edibles may be kicking in a bit much right now because I just feel like listening to some tunes and just shutting all this out. Because it's sad, man. We've come a long way, and now you're sort of torching everything that we've done and all that we've accomplished, and you're making us start over again, but yet we were there. People didn't tolerate things. We were cool. But then again, their plan is to keep us separated so that they can every 2 years come by and go, oh, we're here to free you from white oppression. Yeah. Oh, it's just exhausting, your boy, man. Just tired of talking about the same shit over and over again. Democrats deciding if they should care about a mass shooting. See, again, they're the ones who are so preoccupied with color and spin. The tragedy in Florida, and they just want it to be Asian hate crime so bad. And they're like, no, it can't be that this guy's just fucked up in the head. You know? Oh, in Boulder, Colorado, it was a white guy. Oh, no, wait, it was a Muslim in the whole thing. Or it was a guy that certainly wasn't white. And Colorado had all the gun laws you want. The guy went in, and despite supposedly being on a watch list, he was able to buy a gun. It's a broken system, man. But think about it. If he did that crime here in L.A., it would just be 10 counts of murder, I guess, without the gun enhancements. So what do you care about? Do you just care about being right? You don't care about doing right? You only care about convincing people that you have all the big ideas? Because I don't get it. I don't get it at all. You're no longer doing the job of journalists, man. You're just click whores. Think your job's tough? How'd you like to be the sign language interpreter at Biden's speech? Man, we are really in some fucked up times right now, dude. Because all this is going to come back, and eventually it's going to be President Kamala Harris. A woman nobody would want to elect. A woman that nobody likes or should like. A woman who stands for everything that's wrong in this world right now. All the hypocrisy. Not even a symbol of female empowerment. Literally spread her legs to jumpstart her career, dude. I'm sorry, but that's what the record shows, man. That's not a hero, man. Being used as a box checker, that's not a hero. That's a token. And we don't need that. We need women to get into that position because they earned it and nobody could say they didn't. That's what we want, right? Oh, man. This is the last one. Ted Cruz was having an impromptu press meeting or whatever, and a reporter said, hey, you gonna put a mask on? And he was like, well, I'm gonna be talking. And the guy's like, well, that'd make us feel better if you put a mask on. And he was like, you're free to leave. Because that's the answer. These guys have been immunized. And speaking of immunized, in case you haven't heard it, Cuomo actually got favors done for his brother so that his brother, who's just an anchor man on CNN, could get vaccinated. They all jumped the line. Wherever they could, they jumped the line. They're not the most important people. I mean, in the world of an apocalypse, what the fuck is Kamala Harris going to do for us? What, she's going to be the organizer? I'm sorry, but I would rather have like a building foreman, a construction foreman, something like that. Yeah, I'd rather have like an army lieutenant being in charge at that point when the apocalypse hits. There's not a lot of people in Washington, D.C. we're going to need if there's an apocalypse. These are often the worst examples of people. But, you know, it's funny the bedfellows you make, man, because, you know, Ted Cruz was not somebody who I really admired or anything before all this, but, you know, I guess he's sort of on my side, and things like this make a lot of sense. If it makes you uncomfortable, then just walk away. That's how it used to be, man. If you didn't like something on TV, you changed the channel. You didn't try to, like, end the career of everybody involved. Because that's fascism. That's what the Nazis did. Learn about the Nazis, and then look at what the far left is doing. And if you can't figure it out, come back here next week, and I'll probably be talking about exactly how the far left and Nazis are exactly the same. And they're using the same tactics. And the results, well, results may vary. Copious out.